It is Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel and the one who saved our souls, because Jesus is the gospel. So today is the day that we vote, and I hope you have gone out and voted. If not, go out and vote today, and vote as a Christian. Vote with a Christian conscience. Vote with Christian principles in mind. If you want some guidance on that, there is a link. Well, I think you can actually hear it in this stream. Is that what you call it? On our page here, where you can, at least if you're on Facebook, you can look for the message from a Tuesday or so ago. It's either a Tuesday of last week or the week before. So go back, look for a Tuesday, and it's from Dr. Albert Mohler, and it is, I think, a flawless presentation of how Christians today should vote. Okay, there you have it. Because I believe, I've never felt so strongly about an election in my lifetime. That's me, but that's how I'm feeling, so that's why I'm encouraging you. Now, back to the Apostle Paul, and that's where we're really getting our viewpoint on how we should approach this election. Contrary to what Pastor John Piper, who I have great respect for, said, I think it was completely off base. Albert Mohler, on base. John Piper, though I love him, off base. All right, there you have it, my 2 cents. On the contrary, the Apostle Paul says, when they saw that I'd been entrusted with the gospel, and he's talking about the leadership of the church in Jerusalem. Remember, Paul went to the church there to verify the gospel. He'd been preaching for 14 years to the Gentiles. They added nothing to his gospel, and the summary of his gospel is grace plus nothing. That's the gospel. On the contrary, when they saw that I had been entrusted with the gospel to the uncircumcised, just as Peter had been entrusted with the gospel to the circumcised, for he who worked through Peter for his apostolic ministry to the circumcised worked also through me for mine to the Gentiles. So Paul's just contrasting the two ministries, the same way that the Lord Jesus Christ gave Peter a ministry to the Jews with the gospel. He gave me a ministry to the Gentiles for the gospel. And when James and Cephas, who is Peter, and John, who seemed to be pillars, so here we're three leaders of the early church. James, the brother of Jesus, and of course, just by being Jesus' brother, and here's the thing, James did not believe in Jesus until after the resurrection. So his entire ministry, James did not believe in the claims of his brother until after he saw him risen from the dead. There you go, final proof. So James then becomes a leader in the church in Jerusalem, as does Peter, as does the Apostle John, who seem to be pillars. Again, Paul's saying it doesn't make any difference who they were or what they were, or who they are or what they are, because God shows no partiality, even to the men he picked to lead his church. Who seem to be pillars, perceive the grace that was given to me. So they recognized God's hand at work in the Apostle Paul's ministry. Now, that is something that I suppose I could go off on a rant on this, but don't really have time to do it. But just as a note then, it is good to have our ministries affirmed by others, saying God is at work in this ministry, and here's how. I will say this, especially in these times, I'll be honest with you. I read a blog this last week, a pastor who'd been in ministry for 50 years said, out of 50 years of ministry, this year has been the hardest year out of all 50 years. And to be honest, I was thankful to hear that, because it meant I wasn't the only one who felt just the weight of these times we're living in terms of trying to minister. And let me put it just like this, trying to hold a church together, though I can't hold a church together. So, but that's the emotional, psychological strain, so to speak. But it's always good to have our ministries affirmed by others. All right, let's stop there, pick up tomorrow. What's God said to you today? What are you going to do about it?